live stream, so hopefully all the technology and everything works out fine. I'm sure it will. I did test it yesterday, so it should be good to go. I'm just going to give a couple minutes for the live stream to actually activate. It takes a little bit for it to pop up on YouTube. So in the meantime, if you want to comment and let me know where you're tuning in from, that's always interesting. You can also mention what inspired you to join the live stream. That's always interesting to know. And otherwise, just get comfortable. You don't necessarily have to have any equipment, but it's nice if you have a yoga mat. If you don't, you could just use a towel, or if you have hardwood floors, I like to practice just on the bare wood is nice. I have a couple blocks here. If you don't have blocks, you could also use folded up towels or a little stack of books, just anything that feels stable. We won't be using a whole lot of the blocks, but it's kind of nice just to make yourself comfortable. And then if you want a blanket, usually towards the end of the practice, if we get still and go into meditation, then it's nice to have a blanket where you can kind of cover up and keep yourself cozy. So let me just double check, make sure this is streaming. And okay, looks like we're good to go. So let me just get that up. Okay, great. So the subject of this yoga class today, as I mentioned, is yoga for manifestation. And there's two ways that this can be approached. A lot of times when people think about manifestation, they're usually thinking about the first way, which is wanting to call in something into your experience that you're wishing to experience in sort of like the worldly dimension. So a lot of times this goes into like health. Maybe you want to improve your health and fitness goals, or maybe you have something that you're wanting to heal or reverse aging, anything to do with your physical body and your physical health. This can also include things like finances, relationships, or anything having to do with kind of your physical worldly life. The other category is a little bit more expanded and a little bit more in the spiritual dimension, and that is wanting to manifest something that's in alignment with your deeper soul purpose or your deeper soul mission. So a lot of times this can feel like a calling and can kind of feel like your life's work or your life's purpose. And neither one of these is better or worse. A lot of times you'll see people focusing on specifically on manifesting, money, health, relationships, those kinds of things. Less common is taking the time to tune in and really see what your soul or your higher self would like to manifest through you. And this is something that is really in alignment with your deeper purpose. So you may have something in mind right now, or you may not, which is fine. I'm going to give a few minutes here for you to kind of contemplate that, and so that you can have a clear intention for your yoga practice going forward. So if it's something having to do with more of your material life, then you might already know what that is, especially if it's something that's really significant or really painful. Maybe you're struggling financially or having conflict in a relationship or something like that. So if it's in that arena, go ahead now and just close your eyes and take a moment to really tune in to one specific thing. And I recommend choosing one thing rather than, a lot of times we have a lot of things that we would like to focus on, but it's most effective if you just pick one thing. So go ahead now and close your eyes and just tune into what that one thing is, and just sort of feel into it from a neutral perspective. And if you're wanting to approach this from the other category, which is a little bit more opening up and receiving what the universe or your higher self wants to manifest through you, then it's going to look a little bit different. So in the first instance, we're going to set the intention now to really tune into the vibrational frequency of that desired outcome. So of that perfect health, of that perfect job opportunity coming your way, or partner, something like that. We're going to hold that intention throughout the class and really tune into that frequency. If it's in the other category, then it's going to look a little different, because the class is going to be just opening up to receive. So the first one is a little bit more yang. You're kind of going for a specific goal in a targeted way. The other one is more yin. So you're just being open to listen and receive. And also keep in mind that you may not get something really clear during class, but if you're open over the next several hours, next several days, even weeks, things can begin to develop and come into your consciousness that are in alignment with what we're doing here in the class. So how does this work? There's kind of two key elements to manifesting or aligning with your destiny. One is having that really clear intention. And if you're not sure what it is, then it's being open to receive that very clear picture or clear feeling or clear guidance of where you're going on your life's path. The other part is having an elevated emotion. So a lot of times we're manifesting all the time, but the problem is we're manifesting unconsciously. So all of the programs, the patterns, the habits that we have, and this is our mental stories as well as the habits and patterns we have in our emotional body, are looping and basically creating our current reality. So what we're doing with this yoga practice and any yoga practice or meditation practice is we're beginning to break that cycle and begin to clear space like a clear canvas where we can write a new story, we can write a new destiny, and then align our energies with that desired outcome. So the first part is having that clear mind, having that clear space. And so a lot of what we do throughout a yoga practice is we're moving the energy from the thinking mind, which is generally in the past or in the future, down into the body. So a lot of the cueing throughout a yoga class is directing you back into your body, back into feeling in your body to move that energy and that static down into the physical body. We're also helping to create a clear, still mind, because when the mind is clear and it doesn't have all that chatter and all of that clutter, that's when you can really seed that clear intention for manifesting whatever it is you desire. The other piece is the emotional body. So having an elevated emotion can be challenging if there's a lot of blocks already in our nervous system. And the primary one that's most common is stress, right? So we all have that experience, and what happens with stress is this pushes our nervous system out of balance. It's great for like short term if you have to tend to something really quickly, but chronic low-grade stress, it's very difficult for the body to manage. So this is why people struggle with having low energy, feeling tired, feeling fatigued. It actually breaks down the physical body, so this allows dis-ease to begin to enter into the body. But also what stress does is it feeds back into our mind. So we have this loop where if the body is in a state of fight or flight or a stressful state, this literally breeds stressful thinking. So when we're in that state, we're only able to have thoughts that match our emotional state. So when our body is in stress, we're having stressful thoughts. We're usually in the future, anticipating the worst outcome. And then those thoughts feed back into the emotional body. So we get this loop going, and a lot of this is unconscious. A huge percentage of our thoughts throughout the day are repetitive and they're unconscious. So what we're doing with this yoga practice is bringing conscious attention into what's going on in the mind, what's going on in the body, recognizing that feedback loop or that looping of a negative cycle. And that recognition is the portal or the doorway to shifting that cycle and moving more into alignment with the vibrational frequency of what it is you're wishing to manifest. So throughout the class, you may find that as we're going through this practice, certain things will arise. Especially if things arise in the emotional body, it's helpful to not fixate on them, but just allow that energy to move through. And if the mind starts getting involved and asking questions like, oh, why am I feeling this? Or you can detect a little bit of that mental resistance. And if you see that, just let it go, come back to your breath and come back into your body. So all of that said, the main core thing to take away is just the best mental emotional state from which we can manifest is having a clear mind and a peaceful body. And from that peaceful body, we can really move into the vision and the frequency of what it is we're wishing to manifest. And as we do that, that's when the emotion begins to elevate because we feel very aligned. We feel very excited about what it is we're aligning with, and then the energies begin to rise. But as I mentioned before, sometimes this can take practice as we're clearing some of that old stuff, some of the old programming, some of the old stuff that's stuck in our nervous system. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to give just a minute now for you to Decide if you have something specific that it is you're wishing to manifest, or if you feel to be more open and receptive to receiving messages and guidance from your higher self, from the universal creative energy, as to what is going to be manifested through you as part of your life purpose or part of your soul mission. So just take a moment now. You can close your eyes if you like, and just feel into that. Okay, and as I mentioned, it's most helpful to just pick one thing. So whichever, you can do this different days, different times, but for this practice, just pick one thing and then hold that as your intention. You can speak your intention in your mind, or you can just feel into it and just have kind of a picture or a feeling sense of what that is. And then we'll go ahead and begin. We're just going to do a gentle practice. You don't have to have any yoga experience or background. As we move through the practice, you can just kind of hold that intention in the background, but most of your energy during the practice is just going to be with your body and your breath. So you kind of have that intention over here, but your focus is really being present with yourself and present with the practice. And then at the end of the practice, we'll go a little bit into a meditation to really get clear on your intention and getting your energies aligned with that. Okay. Also, if you need to use the restroom, you can take a minute to do that as we get set up. And then otherwise, it's best to kind of keep all of your energy on the mat if possible. And also maybe think about if you can turn off notifications on your phone, let family members know that you're going to be doing a yoga practice. The more you're able to focus and be present, the better. Okay. So we are going to start in a restorative bridge pose. So if you have a stack of blankets or a block, basically we're just going to lay down first on our back. You can have both of your feet firmly planted on the earth, coming all the way down. And then once you're there, go ahead and press into your feet, lift your hips up, and slide the block right underneath your sacrum. Your sacrum is that little triangular bone at the base of your spine. And if you get into the right spot, this should feel really good. So if it's too low on your hips, you might feel like you're kind of sliding off. If it's too high, you're going to feel it pushing into your lower back, and that's not going to be very comfortable. So find your sweet spot. And then from here, go ahead and place your hands on your belly. And we're going to begin to work with just a conscious, rhythmic breath. This is nice and easy. And you may find, just as you're starting to tune into the breath, that there's something preventing it from being nice and full and easy. You might feel a little bit of stuck energy. The breath can feel a little bit jumpy at first. So just notice kind of what's there and very gently begin to expand the breath into the belly. And as you inhale, you'll feel, and maybe even see if your eyes are open, the belly's rising up toward the sky. On the exhalation, the belly's sinking back toward the earth as you release and come into your practice. Find your own rhythm. So we're not really trying to go for the biggest, fullest breath possible. Just a nice, comfortable, even breath. Seeing if you can find that nice rhythm and balance between the in-breath and the out-breath. Using the breath to call your energy and your attention into the space and into your body. With each inhalation, feel that you're drawing all of your currents back to yourself. Many times our attention is attached to outer things. Could be people, places, events, stories. So take the time now to intentionally call your energy back to you, back into the core of your being, With each inhalation, you're drawing, pulling that energy all the way back into your core, becoming whole, becoming centered, fully present. And on the exhalation, you're letting everything go. So anything that came before class, anything that's going to come after, just carve out this time. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just being fully present with yourself, connecting the body to the breath, using the breath to keep your conscious awareness connected here in the present moment and connected with your body. With the next inhalation, if you like, you can have the intention to call in your higher self more fully. Or if you prefer, you can call upon any guide or spiritual teacher. Whatever higher consciousness, higher power that you resonate with, just call that in now with each inhalation, feeling that connection. And with each exhalation, feeling yourself coming even more into stillness, relaxation, and ease. And we're going to begin to move the body. So with the next inhalation, go ahead and press the hips up toward the sky. Reach down and slide that block or blankets out from beneath your hips. And we're going to exhale, rolling the spine down one vertebrae at a time. You may take more than one breath to do this. Once the hips reach the mat, go ahead and inhale the knees up toward the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins and just give yourself a nice hug here. You can leave the head on the mat if that's comfortable, or you can lift the head and bring the forehead in toward the knees as you give a nice squeeze, giving the internal organs a nice squeeze, and then bringing the head back to the mat. We're going to begin to just rock side to side, left to right, just rocking across the back. Go ahead and place your hands on your knees and play with pulling the knees really close in toward the chest, which is going to put the movement higher up on your back. And then begin to straighten the arms and notice how the movement goes down into the hips. So just play with that. Allow your movements to be spontaneous and natural. Everything I'm saying is just a suggestion, but if you feel intuitively to do something different, then go for it. Okay, coming into center, we're going to inhale and press the soles of the feet up toward the sky. If you like, you can reach your hands behind your thighs to hold on to your legs or hang on to your pants or shorts. As you pull the toes down toward your chest and press through the heels as if you could stand on the ceiling or the clouds above you. Really pressing into those heels. Then we're going to bend the knees so it comes to a 45-degree angle. Knees are stacked above the hips. Shins are parallel with the floor. Go ahead and do a few ankle rolls here. And then reach inside your knees and allow the legs to fall wide. So you're using your hands to support the legs so that the legs can relax fully. You can still continue doing some of those ankle rolls. You can even play with extending one leg straight and then the other. You can do both legs, just opening up the inner thigh. And then go ahead and place the feet onto the mat. Allow the legs to go long. We're going to inhale the left knee in toward the left shoulder. Again, clasping the hands around the shin. Really give that a nice squeeze. The thigh and the leg is going to be to the outside of the rib cage, and the knee is going toward that shoulder. So give a nice squeeze there. Continuing with your rhythmic breathing. And then release that leg, allow it to go long. And we're going to inhale the right leg up or the opposite leg. And then again, just squeezing that in, wrapping your fingers around the shin. If you're not able to get your fingers around the shin, you can also wrap your hands around the back of the thigh. So just find what works for your body. Breathing into this. And then release, allow that leg to go long. Inhale the arms up above your head and give a nice big full body stretch. So really pointing the toes, you can interlace your hands and then turn the palms of your hands up toward the top and really stretch the body long and then release. We're going to bring the feet, soles of the feet back to the earth, knees are bent, and then from here, we're going to lift the legs up again to that tabletop position where the knees are stacked above the hips, shins are parallel to the floor. Now just notice you're engaging your abs to hold the legs here. See if you can, on the exhalation, press the low back into the mat. So this is a micro movement. You're not going to really see anything. On the inhalation, the belly relaxes and there's a little space that develops in the low back. Then on the exhalation, again, pressing that low back into the mat, into the earth, engaging the belly, inhalation, you're releasing. So just do this a few times in your own breath, really connecting the breath with your lower abdominal muscles. When you're pressing that low back into the earth, it's as if your navel is pressing back toward your spine. Really getting a nice engagement there. On the inhalation, things relax while still keeping the legs elevated. On your next inhalation, go ahead and inhale the arms up above the head, palms facing up. As you exhale, slightly bend the elbows and use the elbows to lift your upper body toward, and a little bit of a crunch here, and then palms are facing down toward the earth as you reach your fingertips toward the bottom of your mat. As you inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, bend the elbows, curling up and reaching the fingertips. Do this on your own breath a few more times. And if you'd like to add an element, you can begin extending one leg and allowing it to hover above the floor when you come up. Inhale, release, arms go above the head. Exhale, pressing the low back into the earth. If you like, extending one leg, reaching the fingertips. Let's do 2 more on each side. So go at your own pace. The exhalation, you're curling up, pressing the low back into the earth. The inhalation, you're relaxing the belly, arms come above the head. Focusing the mind and the breath into that belly. Conscious movement with the breath. When you're finished, go ahead and wrap your arms around your shins again. Give a nice squeeze. Back and forth. Then we're going to come up into tabletop or all fours. There's a couple ways you can get there. You can either just roll over onto your side and press yourself up onto your hands and knees. Or if you like, you can reach behind your thighs and begin to rock back and forth across the spine until you rock yourself up to a seated position. And then we're going to come over onto hands and knees. Here, go ahead and make the hands wide like starfish. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders. I'm just fixing my pants here. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders. Knees are directly underneath the hips. If you look back, you shouldn't be able to see your feet. So go ahead and just align your feet directly behind the thighs. From here, we're going to take a nice deep inhale, and then we're going to press and round the back and tuck the tailbone under. Moving into cat-cow. As you inhale, drop the belly, head and chest come forward. This will probably feel really good after doing that belly work. So move with your own breath. We're just getting a nice wave through the spine. So inhale, initiate with the tailbone comes up, belly drops, head and chest come forward. On the exhale, tailbone tucks under. Press the floor away from you as you round, pressing the heart center up toward the sky. Again, moving in your own pace. You can go as fast or as slow as comfortable. And you can stay with this, or you can begin to play. We're going to wag the hips side to side. You can do some big circles. Just be spontaneous and allow your body to guide your movements. What does your body want right now? What feels good? So just play around here for a little bit. And then coming back into center, we're going to do just a little bit of balance here. So plant the left hand firmly on the mat. We're going to inhale the left leg up behind you, pointing the toes toward the back of the room. And then the right arm, opposite arm, comes forward with one nice long line. Then go ahead and release that back to the mat. And we're going to do the other side. So planting the right hand, right leg comes up, and then left arm. We're going to switch sides again. Left leg comes up, opposite arm. So left leg, right arm are right raised here. If you like, you can reach back and grab onto the top of that foot and just extend it here. Releasing back to the mat. Coming into the other side. Opposite leg and arm extend. And if you like, you can bend the knee, grabbing onto the top of the foot, just getting a nice stretch here. And slowly release that. We're going to press back into child's pose. So go ahead and bring your big toes together, widen the knees about as wide as your mat, and then press your hips back toward the heels. We're going to stretch the arms out long and place the forehead on the mat, or if your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can bring a block underneath your forehead. Just take a moment to rest here and come back to the breath. Feel yourself becoming centered, becoming still. We're going to walk the hands over to one side. So if your head's on a block, you can move that off to the side. And then we're just going to walk the hands all the way over to the right, getting a nice long stretch through the left side of the body. So as you reach through the left fingertips, go ahead and press that left hip away from you. You'll feel this all the way through the rib cage, maybe through the armpit. So just kind of using the hands to really get a nice side stretch. And then walking the hands through center. We're going to come all the way over into the other side. Stretching that right arm long. And pressing the right hip away from the right fingertips, getting a nice full stretch through the side body. Coming back to the rhythmic breath. Holding your conscious attention in the body. Coming back into center, we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. If you have downward dog in your practice, go ahead and come right into it. If you're new to yoga, or you're new to downward facing dog, go ahead and just come onto your knees. We're going to do sort of a modified, this is called heart melting pose, but it just is the upper body of downward facing dog. So your knees are right above, your hips are right above your knees. The arms are outstretched really long, so you're getting a big opening through the armpits. If you're up in downward facing dog, go ahead and pedal the heels. Just opening up the backs of the legs. And then from here, we're going to slowly come into forward fold. So you're going to just walk the feet towards the hands. and allow the torso to fold over the thighs. Go ahead and have a bend in your knees. The back of the neck is relaxed, so sometimes there is the tendency to lift the back of the head. Go ahead and just do a slight wiggle, yes, no, side to side, so that you know that the back of the neck is released. Again, you can have a bend in your knees and allow the belly to come over the thighs as the weight of your head and shoulders just allows you to sink your upper body toward the earth. Breathing here. And on the next inhalation, we're going to bend the knees pretty deep and just begin to roll one vertebrae at a time up to standing, keeping the head tucked all the way to the end. Once you're almost standing, go ahead and bring the head and chin up, roll the shoulders back, and we're going to come into mountain pose. So the hips are directly above the ankles, shoulders are above the hips, ears are nice and aligned with the shoulders. Go ahead and open your palms to the front. And then look down and just notice if your toes are nice and wide. You can kind of lift the toes and sort of spread them wide and place them back on the mat. Then we're going to feel into the four corners of the feet. So just begin to rock a little bit forward onto the balls of the feet and then back into the heels. Just back and forth. And then play with shifting your weight side to side. So a little bit on the left foot, a little bit on the right. And then imagine you have a string of energy at the top of your head pulling your energy up into the sky, all the way into the cosmos. And at the same time, the base of your spine, the soles of your feet are rooting deep into the earth. Fingers are wide, fingertips are stretching down as if you could brush your fingers through the grass. Heart is open, head is neutral, eyes can be open or closed. Just feel the solidity, the strength and the stability of your mountain pose. Really feel the solid earth beneath your feet, very grounded. The safety and the stability of the earth. This moment you can come back to your intention or your receptivity for guidance. Just drop it in like a drop of water in the ocean and let it go. And then release the arms. You can open the eyes here. We're going to step in a little bit of a wide stance. Keep the knees soft, and we're going to begin to swing the arms. But it's really important to not lock the knees. So as we swing, the opposite leg is going to come up off of the mat. So you're just lifting off the heel here, side to side. And you can make this as playful as you like. So we're opening up the body, opening up the energy. And if you like, you can imagine as the arms are swinging, the arms are totally relaxed here. We're just twisting from the core. As you swing your arms, imagine you are just releasing all of that stagnation, all those old programs, all the blocks, the fears, the insecurities. Just throw them off. Allow the earth to absorb them. It's very easy for her to do. See if you can release the neck and the head and shoulders, becoming loose. Your deepest and most powerful manifestations come through a loose body, a loose mind, and a loose nervous system. So opening up here, you can go as fast or as slow as you like. Make it playful. Make it free. Okay, slowing it down. We're going to come back into that mountain pose, but this time, go ahead and bring the palms together at heart center in prayer pose or namaste. You can tuck your chin, close your eyes, feel the thumbs connecting with the heart center, knowing that everything you desire is desiring you. It already exists. And we only align ourselves into that frequency and trust. Great, release the arms here. We're going to begin to go into a side bend. So bring the feet together. Inhale the arms up, interlace the fingers, and we're going to keep the index and thumb pointed like so. Stretch the body nice and tall, really long, and then we're going to lift up and over as if you're bending over a gigantic beach ball, pressing through those fingertips, keeping the breath going through the body. Opposite hip is pressing in the opposite direction. Breathing here. And inhale through center, elongate the spine, stretch really tall and up and over, big side stretch. Again, pressing through those fingertips, opening up the nervous system and the spine. Getting all those nerves activated, all of your feelers. Press those hips away from you. And coming back into center, go ahead and relax the arms. You can give a little wiggle, a little bit of free movement here. And we're going to do it again. So again, soles of the feet come together. Inhale the arms up, interlace the fingers. Press through the index fingers, nice and tall, up and over. Press those fingertips away from the hips, big side stretch. See if you can go a little deeper. And through center, up and over the other side. Really pressing here, keeping the breath moving. Little deeper, great. Back into center, release the arms, allow them to shake, and then we're going to inhale the arms up, bring the belly in toward the spine. We're going to slightly bend the knees, and then we're just going to come all the way over, back into a forward fold. This time, bend the knees pretty deep and see if you can reach your fingertips underneath your heels. If you can get your thumb under there, even better. Then bend the elbows and use your arms to pull the belly in toward the thighs. Release the back of the neck. Allow the crown of the head to go down toward the earth. And just hug yourself in nice and tight. Knees are bent. Or if you feel to begin to straighten the legs as you pull with your arms, really getting a deep stretch through the back of the body here. And release. Go ahead and undo the hands so the hands are on the mat. Hands are loose. We're going to bend the knees here. And we're going to bring the fingers back toward behind you. So fingertips are coming behind you. Knees are bent as if you're about to sit down on a bench. And then we're going to bring the arms out in front. So we're coming into a modified chair pose. A little bit of work for the thighs here. Go ahead and press the hips back as if you're trying to reach a bench that's about 1 inch behind your hips. And at the same time, reach the fingertips forward toward the opposite wall. Breathing here. Feeling the stability of your feet. If you like, you can deepen your squat even more. And then arise out of it and release. Good job. I like to roll over the tops of my toes. Great. Okay, we're going to come into Warrior One. So if you're familiar, go ahead and come right into it. If not, we're going to put the back leg on about a 45-degree angle. Front leg is just coming forward. You can use your toes to sort of inchworm that foot forward. Once you have a pretty wide stance, we're going to begin to bend the front knee until the knee comes about over the ankle, more or less. Once you get your base stable there, imagine you could turn the hips completely forward to line up with the front of your mat And from here, go ahead and inhale the arms up and come back to the breath. Back leg is straight. Imagine you could press into the outer edge of that back foot. Knee coming forward, deepening your stance, knee over the ankle. And then we're going to release the hands down to the mat, frame your foot, and we're going to step back into a plank pose. From here, palms are flat, body is straight like a board, you're up on your toes. We're going to drop the knees, bring the elbows in toward the ribs as you begin to lower yourself so the chest and chin come down to the mat. Butts up in the air, chest and chin are on the mat, and then we're going to pull through and come into cobra. So release the top of the feet. Fingers are back by your rib cage. Fingertips are pointing forward. Elbows are tucked into the ribs. And the head and neck are long. From here, go ahead and press yourself back into child's pose. Nice big stretch here. And then we're going to inhale, coming back into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, hips go up, chest goes back towards the thighs. And then again, we're going to walk the feet toward the hands, coming into a forward fold. If you like, you can go for yogi toe lock. That's where your index finger and your middle finger wrap around the big toe. You place your thumb on the top of that big toenail. And again, we're going to use that grip to draw the belly in toward the thighs. Relaxing the head and neck. And come back to the breath. And then we'll release the hands, drop the hips, and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up. Head and shoulders are last. Roll the shoulders back. And then we'll come into the other side. So go ahead and come toward the back of your mat. This time the right foot, or opposite foot, is going to be on about a 45-degree angle, diagonal to your mat. Bring the left leg forward. Begin to inch your toes forward till you get a really wide stand. It may feel uncomfortably wide for a moment until you bend that front knee. We're bringing that knee directly over the ankle. Back foot is flat on the mat and angled. So as if you could press into the back edge of that back foot. Back leg is straight, left leg is bent. Front leg is bent, knee over the ankle. And then again, see if you can square your hips and shoulders. Inhale the arms up, breathing here. On your next exhalation, bring the hands down toward the mat, framing the foot. You're going to spin onto the back toes, come into that plank pose. And then again, from here, we're going to drop the knees, chin and chest as the elbows tuck into the ribs, butts up in the air, and then come all the way through into low cobra. You're using your back muscles here. Tops of the feet are flat on the mat. Legs are pressing together. Hands are pulling the chest forward toward the front of the mat. Elbows are tucked in. And then press back into child's pose. This time you can have your knees together. Again, if you need to put a block underneath your forehead, you can. And we're just going to rest here for a moment. On the next inhalation, rocking forward into tabletop, tucking the toes under, coming back into your downward dog. We're going to hold here, you can pedal the legs, pressing the heart through. And then you're welcome to step or jump through, coming back into forward fold, bending over the thighs. And then this time we're going to sweep the arms, inhaling, coming all the way up, palm on palm, look up, lean back, just a slight arch, and coming back to namaste or prayer pose, and pause here. Release the hands. We're going to come into tree pose. So if you have tree in your practice, go ahead and take whichever variation you like. If you're new, we're going to plant the right foot and imagine you're sending roots down into the earth with that right foot. The left foot's going to kind of come up into like a kickstand, and you're going to open up the thigh so that the left knee is pointing off to the left side. Then you're going to bring that heel in toward the ankle. So this right here is one variation of the pose, and if you feel like, woo, my balance is being challenged, then just go ahead and stay right here. If you feel like you could go a little bit deeper, we're going to lift that foot and place the sole onto the calf. You want to be mindful that you're not putting any pressure on the knee. So the bent leg should either be below or above the knee, but not on that joint. So if you feel, you can bring it up into the inner thigh, or if you have it in your practice, you can bring it all the way forward. Choose your place, and then you can have the hands on your hips. You can open up your tree branches. Find a focal point for your gaze, and then come back to the breath. If you've come out of the pose, just gently find your way back into it. And it's normal to have a little bit of wiggles. So all those wigglies in the ankle, feeling like you're trying to find your balance, you're re-educating your nervous system, mind-body connection, building the balance. When you're finished, gently release, gracefully coming out of the pose. And we're going to switch sides. I always like to roll over my toes. And we'll come into the opposite side. So for me, that's left foot's planted. Again, send those roots down into the earth to get a really good solid base. Open the opposite knee up so it's pointing to the side. Bring that little kickstand in so your heel's at your ankle. And then find your place, and it may be different on this side. Most of us are slightly asymmetrical. So be open to allowing your body to guide you rather than the mind saying, oh, it should be this way. Just being receptive, finding your place, what feels good for your body, and then finding where you like your arms to be. Could open your branches, could bring the palms into namaste. Just find your place. If you've come out of the pose, just find your way back in. It helps to find a focal point for your gaze. When the eyes are still, the mind can be still. When you're ready, gently, gracefully, releasing. Sometimes I fall out of the pose. That's just fine. Great. Go ahead and inhale the arms up. Lift the head and chest open to the sky to receive. And then we're going to exhale, diving over the legs into forward fold. Release the back of the neck. Crown of the head goes toward the earth. Go ahead and cup your elbows. And then sway side to side here like an elephant. Just back and forth. And then release the arms here, and we're just going to slowly come back onto a comfortable seated position. So just sitting down, you're going to go ahead and lean back onto your hands behind you. Bring the soles of your feet together. Now, if your heels are pretty far away from your hips, either bring the heels in closer or scoot your hips closer to your heels. So you have a really nice sort of butterfly stretch here. And then you're going to come up onto your hands, sitting up nice and tall in the spine, and find the place that gives you a nice inner thigh stretch. So it may be just right here, using the fingertips behind you to keep yourself upright. Or you may feel like reaching the hands forward and toward the front of the mat. If your hands are forward, go ahead and round the spine as you allow your body to melt over the thighs. Now, if you're having difficulty here, go ahead and grab a blanket or a block and put that underneath the hips. Lifting the hips up just slightly can kind of help your body position. So find something that's comfortable and easy, and we're going to be here for a little bit. So bring your attention back to the breath. If you're forward over the thighs, allow the neck to release so that the crown of the head is going down toward the earth. Elbows are heavy. Also, if you need the support, you can put blocks underneath your elbows if they're not reaching down toward the earth. Make yourself comfortable. And then come back to the breath. Notice what happens in the stillness. Is your mind with you? Has it gone off to other places? Just gently bring it back with the breath. And then slowly coming up. You can lean back to undo the legs, just taking the weight off of your legs. Go ahead and bring the legs out long. Give them a little wiggle. You can do kind of a windshield wiper thing there. And then leaving the right leg outstretched long, we're going to bring the left foot in toward the inner thigh. So the left sole is toward the thigh of the right leg. And then again, we're going to sit up nice and tall, and you can use your hands behind you as support, just having a nice tall spine. And this may be it for you. If you feel like you can go deeper, you can begin to walk the hands forward toward that outstretched ankle. You may grab onto your calf or your ankle, or maybe you're able to reach your toes. We're going to spin the torso and the heart center toward the knee and the thigh. So the body's coming directly over the leg. And then release everything that isn't necessary. So you may find that you're gripping somewhere that you can let go. Face is soft. Shoulders and neck are relaxed. Leg is relaxed, allowing the weight of your torso to come over the thigh. Your next inhalation coming up. We're going to lean back and switch legs. Opposite foot comes in toward the thigh. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Squaring your body over that leg and then walking the hands forward, letting them land wherever they do. Once you find your place, coming back into stillness and releasing everything that no longer needs to be gripped. Allowing your mind to release. The breath is slow and rhythmic, moving through the body. As you melt ever so slightly deeper and deeper over the thigh. Notice where your mind is. Bring it back to the breath. And on the inhalation, we're slowly going to come up. We're going to come all the way onto the back. So just scoot yourself so you're nice and centered in your mat. Legs can go long. And then just gently lower yourself down onto your back. Just take a moment here to open the palms up toward the sky. Eyes can be opened or closed. Coming into our final twist of our practice before we move into the meditation. So go ahead and inhale the right knee in toward your shoulder like we did at the beginning of class. Give a nice squeeze here. And then with your left hand, draw that right knee across the body over to the left as you open the right arm to the right, palm facing up toward the sky. You may even look over to the right as the left hand is gently guiding that knee over to the left, getting a nice deep spinal twist here, and come back to your breath. Go ahead and release, come back into center, get yourself situated on your mat, and then elongate the right leg, hug the left knee into the left shoulder. And this time, use the right hand to guide that knee across the body over to the right as you open up the left hand and shoulder to the left side. Every once in a while, I get a really nice spinal adjustment here, a little pop, opening up. Be easy and gentle with yourself. And then slowly release. And again, center yourself on the mat. If you like, this would be a good time to grab a blanket, maybe a little pillow for underneath your knees or underneath your head. We're just going to come into the final resting position for a couple minutes. So find your comfortable place. And then I encourage you to close your eyes. And now allow the breath to be easy. Throughout the class, we've been intentionally guiding the rhythmic breath. Now we're letting the breath go, letting everything go. Allowing yourself to drift into a clear mind and a peaceful body. Knowing that when the mind is still, when you're present, when the body is at peace, this is when you're in your creative power. The power and the energy flows when we open and release. Feel yourself coming into a clear space, open canvas. The past is completely dissolved. There's a brand new opening for you to step into. So bring your attention now into your desire, aligning yourself with the manifestation, knowing it's already done. If you're opening to receive guidance, just allow yourself to be still, to trust. What would it feel like to be fully and completely aligned in deep knowing and deep trust with your manifestation power? If you have a specific intention you're working on, step into that now. You may see images or feel sensations. What would it feel like to be living that reality right now? This is a very easy and effortless alignment. There's no efforting, no trying. That it's of the ego mind. So come into the heart mind, into the core of your being, infinite creativity and power of who you are. Everything is available to you. Just allow yourself to easily and effortlessly drift into perfect alignment with your desire. And so it is. Just allow yourself to bask in the gratitude of receiving full support of the universe and your higher self. All healing resources and guidance are available to you. When we stop trying, when we let go, we allow ourselves to naturally come back into the alignment with who we are, the core of our being, the effortless truth. Slowly now begin to bring yourself back into your body and back into the room. Taking your time, maybe wiggling your toes and fingers. I'm going to slowly roll onto one side. Just allow your body to guide you. And if you have a block or a blanket close at hand, you can just place that underneath your head as a little pillow. And just take a moment here to seal in all that you've received. And then when you're ready, we're all going to meet in a comfortable seated position. So taking your time, you can slowly bring yourself up. It's helpful to have a block underneath your hips or a stack of blankets. We're just going to have the legs crossed if that's comfortable for you. If it's not, you can have the legs open and long. So just find something that's comfortable, most important. You You can have the eyes closed here. We're just going to sit nice and tall and do just a little bit of breath. Just take a moment to be still before we begin. We're going to seal in our practice today with alternate nostril breathing. So if you're familiar with that, you're welcome to just go at your own pace. If you're not, then you may want to open your eyes or just listen to me describe what we'll do. So we're going to use the right hand and we're going to block the right nostril with the right thumb. We're going to inhale through the left nostril. At the top of the breath, we're going to use the ring finger to seal the left nostril as we exhale out the right. Then we inhale through the right. At the top of the breath, seal the right nostril with the thumb, release and exhale out the left. So we're just switching sides at the top of the breath. The thumb is on the right nostril, the ring finger comes to the left nostril. We're just alternating. Plugging one side as you inhale. At the top of the breath, switching sides, releasing and exhaling out the opposite nostril. Nice and easy. This is helping to balance your nervous system, balance the brain, balance your masculine and feminine energies, bringing you into center. So again, we're switching sides at the top of the breath when the lungs are full, blocking one nostril at a time. Nice, full, even breath. Wherever you are, we're going to complete the breath by exhaling through the left nostril. We started on the left, we're going to finish on the left. So in your next exhalation through the left nostril, go ahead and release the hand. Keep the eyes closed and just relax. Coming into the heart center, gratitude for your practice, knowing everything is perfectly aligned for you in this adventure that we call life. Welcome to bring the hands together in Namaste or prayer pose, making contact with the thumbs to the heart center. You can gently bow the head in reverence to your deeper, greater being, all of life. Namaste. Okay. Thank you all for joining me for our practice today. My plan is to do this every Saturday at the same time. Maybe I'll play around with the times to see what works well for everyone. But for the rest of the day, just enjoy this energy, release everything, let it be exactly as it is. You can drink a little extra water. Just take a little bit of time to transition from your yoga practice into your life. So if you're able to go outside, spend a little time in the fresh air and nature, that would be wonderful. And I will see you in our next class. Okay, namaste.